So we've been able to ask members of the Tigray community in Australia if they have family that they're aware of or friends that are stuck in Ethiopia to let us know. And we've collected about 50 names that are stuck in the Tigray region. This is a minimum. We're not sure if there is others that we haven't been able to reach within the community. And this doesn't include aid workers that are not a part of the Tigray community, that are maybe Australian aid workers that are stuck in this region. We haven't been able to get the numbers for them. As the country as a whole in Ethiopia, we're gathering about 70 names as a minimum of being stuck in Ethiopia.
Now, many of you are protesting in Canberra tomorrow. What do you want from the Australian government?
The most important thing that I think we want from the Australian government is for them to be a part of the conversation in the international community to de-escalate this conflict, and for there to be a peaceful dialogue, and for this conflict to cease, and for the civilians to be left alone, I guess, out of harm's way, and for the Australians to be able to come back home safely. Australia has a very strong standing within the international community with regards to peace, and this conflict is threatening to the peace within the Horn of Africa, not just Ethiopia itself. The Minister for Defence for Ethiopia had stated in the past in an interview saying that this is not a big deal and this is an internal affair. We beg to differ, just because 40,000 people have now fled to Sudan. Eritrea is also involved in this conflict, and the Horn of Africa is already quite fragile, so this has become a regional issue for all of Africa, really.
China was able to evacuate 600 of the workers that they had there. Are you hoping for something similar from the Australian government?
So we're asking for an emergency evacuation to be arranged, with the Chinese government being able to get their citizens out of there, and the workers that were in the Tigray region, they were able to successfully get them out. So we're asking for the same thing to happen for Australian citizens that are in this conflict region. We have also heard of Israel doing the same thing, getting citizens out. So we're expecting a similar thing from the Australian government for the people that are Australian citizens and permanent residents that are stuck there.
Mahtut, how hard is it to contact family in Ethiopia at the moment?
At the moment, no one is able to reach any family members that are in the Tigray region. The telecommunication blackout is now has been active for 20 days, and with the most recent statement from the military saying that they will have no mercy as they get prepared to bomb Mekelle, a lot of us are concerned. We haven't been able to speak to our families. We don't know if they're alive, and we don't know what's happened to them. So we're very concerned about that as well.
And do you feel in a way that they are going to have no other choice but to flee the region if that fighting does commence?
A lot have already started fleeing, as the UN has already mentioned that there is more than 40,000 refugees now in Sudan. So that has already started. But for a lot of us in Australia who still go back to Tigray and visit home, is mainly because we still have grandparents there, we still have cousins and aunties and siblings still there. So this conflict is not just impacting, I guess, the Australian citizens that are stuck there. It is also impacting our extended families or direct families that have been still consider Ethiopia home and still consider Tigray home. It's impacting them as well. And so the citizens that are stuck there are now faced with the reality of, if they are able to escape and if the Australian government is able to successfully get them out, they're faced with the issue of, do I leave my mother, do I leave my brother to die whilst I'm free in Australia? And so this is a very saddening moment for us here, and a lot of us are just concerned that we've gone back in history. This has happened to Tigray in the past. It's been bombed by previous dictators, and this was all the way back in the 1980s, where Tigray was faced with a famine and a civil war. And so going back to that, it's caused a lot of trauma for the people that had escaped that and made Australia home. So that's brought up a lot of trauma back for them. And now the parents of the children that have grown up in Australia, were born in Australia, are now having to watch their children go through this trauma all over again.
Mahtut, we'll watch and see what materialises as this plays out. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries. Thank you.